Are you ready? Hey there, you are listening to Thynktank Millionaire Podcast, where on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you get an unfiltered, raw, and authentic conversation about the challenges of being an entrepreneur and tips and tricks on how you can scale your business to the next level. If you are looking to scale your business, then get ready to buckle up. Introducing our host, Alexa D'Agostino.
Welcome to Thynktank's Millionaire Podcast, a podcast where you have real entrepreneurs talking about real problems and giving you real solutions to fix them to help you scale to the next level. Hello, everyone. My name is Alexa D'Agostino. I'm your host of Millionaire Podcast. And today we are going to discuss what it really takes to build a business. And today I have not a better person than JT Foxx himself, a serial entrepreneur investor and the world's #1 business coach. For those of you that don't know him, you need to get to know him. He has been in my life now for about a year and has drastically helped me change and grow my business as a coach, a mentor, and a partner. So happy to have him. He is the real deal. I've seen it myself, and you guys are in for a treat today. So JT, you call yourself the underdog millionaire, and tell your story how you had very little money and now you're worth 9 figures. You are literally the American dream, what most people hope for their life. But what people see is the great story. They don't see the work that actually went into building that empire. So what does it really take to build an empire that you have today? And what's the biggest lesson that you've learned?
It's funny because people say, the underdog millionaire. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm the underdog anywhere. Anybody would see me. I'm an underdog with all the success, all the companies I own all over the world. The idea is we start unknown and we finish unforgettable. And at first, the only reason we're underdog is none of our family, friends think we're going to make it. They, we have a lot of haters and non-believers and a lot of things that are against us. And then when we make it, they say, you're lucky. And then when you do it again, they say, teach me for free. And then when you make it more, they come for you for a loan. And then when you make it even more, they want a job from you. So, and then later on, when you super make it, they want to be your partner. So that's sort of the transgression of it as well. But the fundamental basis, having come from Canada, the United States over 10 years ago with $974, I went down to negative 34,000. I started off in real estate investing, and I did within 9 months, I became a millionaire in real estate. And then I made a second million. And then I did 500 deals without using my own money. I was a millionaire at 24, multi-millionaire at 25. And by 28, I had 8-figure net worth. And obviously now we're in the 9s, and growing there. But everything comes from an evolution, right? The people you surround yourself, the relationships, I tend to gloss over that story because my past is my past and it's not anybody's past. And I think it's much easier now. You've got social media, but it's also harder because nobody wants to work. So there's so many variants. And I hate when people talk about their story because the story is different. The people watching this, they're about to create their story. They're not going to be able to do what I'm able to do, just like people are not able to do what they're going to do 5 years from now. But there's certain fundamentals that they need, i.e. the ability to build relationships, which you did. I mean, I very rarely do podcasts. One, because I did in your case because you've always added value, and you're always present. You're already doing things. I know we do some deals together, and we're involved in some of the same group. And you're always a person of value. So I couldn't care less whether you had 1 listener or you had 10 million listeners. I do it because of people, and I think that's the important part. That's number one. So I think you've mastered that, the ability to get people like me and some very successful people because you take action. And then second of all, you added value. You introduced a couple people, so it's not just, I know you, but I want to add value. I know you recently did something inadvertently to me. One of my clients ended up doing business with you and you sent the check. I didn't even know about it till after the fact. Now, most people have said that little amount of money, they would have said, like if you kept it to yourself, they'll be like, maybe I would have known, maybe I would have found out. And if I would have found out, I probably would have been upset. And even if it was a little bit of money in the scheme of things, right? The thought goes a long way. And that's called reciprocal value. And so right there, what you've done has nothing to do with other than being valuable, adding value to relational capital, or just introducing, hey, come here, I'll be there. You should go to here. And that is the same way I do. I mean, I partner with many billionaires. I have a lot of businesses all over the world. And I'm the same way too. I mean, so many companies that I have now that I'm partners in, on top of all the ones that I own, we didn't have the agreement signed already. And I was already adding value to it. And in turns, they're like, wow, the contract is not even signed. But we live in a world where people are like, oh, no, I mean, if I don't get paid, I'm not going to do it. Or this is what I charge. And they haven't proven themselves. And that's the fundamental problem with success is value and relationships. It's not what you know. It's not who you know. It's who knows you. And once you have that, then you can have truly success. But people think that there's a formula, there's a secret, and I don't think that you do. People don't understand marketing. And if they don't understand marketing, you don't crack that code, you're never going to make it. So
yeah. So relationships, take action, add value. Those were the three really big points that you just said. And let's be honest. I mean, you coach thousands of people, JT. You know this more than anybody, that there's a lot of dreamers out there. They have big ideas. They have these big goals, these big visions. So what do you think?
But you know what? They have bigger excuses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So that they have bigger excuses. Everybody wants to be successful, but nobody wants to do what it takes to succeed. They don't have the sacrifice of whether it's attending a conference to building relationships or, doing a call like this, or there's an expectation that, hey, I want to do this. And as a result, it's, like, for example, you don't even know this. I know how much money you make. One, because we work with you. And number two, my CEO has intimate knowledge of that. And so we have a conference that we're putting together, and the idea is called This Works, right? So marketing that works. And I know you got a little thingy behind you, but you actually made the money. But I can name you 5 people that I know that are not millionaires, but they like to say, look at my plaque, look at how much money they are. So the idea of this conference is to celebrate people who make $1 million a year, to learn from people that make $1 million a year. So people in the audience will learn people that are making $1 million in profit a year. Profit. And so sometimes people take a look at the thing behind you and they say to yourself, oh, wow, that's amazing. But no one asks, what's the profit? Great, you did 2 million in sales. You did 1 million in sales. What's the profit? So because I know what you do, you're going to be able to speak at that conference, and because of your accomplishment, because I want people to learn from people who make that type of money.
This is one of the most important points that you just said. Everyone wants to be successful, but they're not willing to do the work to make it happen. And JT, I mean, it's no secret. You have a lot of billionaire partners, and you obviously, I mean, it's so obvious you're going to be a billionaire too someday, very soon. So tell us, what's the difference between people like you and everyone else? Why do billionaires want to do business with you?
Number one, adding value. Right, I said that before. Number two, knowing your role in the food chain. The billionaire, but here's the funny thing. Billionaires don't come to you. Most successful people don't come to you. I had to fly to Dubai. I had to fly to Greece. I had to fly to Portugal. I'm flying to these places. I've never had a billionaire come to me. The funny story enough, whether it's in Chicago, whatever, all over the world, I always have to go to them. And I realize I'll be successful once they decide to fly to me. So I just had to fly to them. And number three, be coachable. And I don't go to them and say, can you teach me? Like I have my own coaches, just like you have coaches too, to bounce ideas off. So when I go for people like that, they're like, you get it. I mean, you're going to be meeting one of my billionaire partners, and you're part of the group, and you're going to get a chance to meet him. And to be around that's the cool part, to be around like-minded individuals. Just like I share all my relationships. But I think that the thing is adding value, finding out what's important to them, not asking. You have to find it. And then you keep pressing that emotional hot button and keep giving it to them. And they're not very trusting. The higher you go up, the less it's about a tight circle. And because there's a lot of betrayal, there's a lot of negativity, and so people like to go with sure things when it comes to relationships. And that's why penetrating these relationships sometimes takes time. But once you're in, you are completely in.
And I think one of the most important things, like, we have a meeting today, right? And I had another meeting, but what did I do? I rescheduled that meeting because it's very rare you're going to be able to get on a Zoom call.
Which, by the way, you hadn't done in the past. I
did it once, to be fair.
No, but that's the ones I noticed. So, yeah. But I'm just telling you, but I did the same thing too. Like I will schedule out, and even that person was more successful. You don't trade one success for another. Yeah. You just kind of make it work. And that's the hard part, that's the hard part, because you're trying to please to everyone. And so and same thing too. Sometimes when a billionaire calls me and they say, jump, like I have to go to Oslo. You'd be like, hey, all the partners are going to be, we need you to go to Oslo. It's going to be the opening. You'll find out about that later tonight. I mean, I never thought, I had 8 flights planned. And so now I got to go to Oslo. I lose 2 locations. I mean, I'm meeting Ann Wintour from Vogue. I'm meeting Tom Brady. I'm meeting a billionaire in LA who's worth $9.7 billion, and Drew Brees, all in 1 week. So every single day there's something going on, but no excuses. You have to make it work. And I think 70% of success is building and the strengthening of the relationships. There's a lot of people you have in your phone and your contact. But if you don't have a true relationship with them, then it's just an acquaintance.
And I think 2 things there. One, it's you want a coach that's going to call you out on your shit, right? So you did that. But then 2, you got to be coachable, right? So what did I do? I changed my behavior and I made sure I didn't do that. And I listened to what you said, because you're going to know more than me. You're more successful than me. So I'm not going to question what you say. When you tell me to jump, I jump, right?
Well, if you remember, you actually had another coach when I first met you went to, and quickly you realized it wasn't like it seemed. It looked good on social media, right? $28 million, all that stuff. And when you look at the numbers, it wasn't that. And ironically, you find out that you're more successful than that person. That's the irony about that. You're actually more successful than that person. So here you are, you're trying to seek advice from someone because it was the perception of success. But eventually the tide reveals itself. And if you're a fugazi and you're fake and you're buying likes, or you're pretending to be someone you're not to give the appearance of that life and that success you don't have, eventually catch up, especially as you climb up the ladder.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of that too is what people do is they combine like the last 8 years of revenue, and that's what they tell people that they make, and they make it look like they're making that per year, and it's not. So, but this was so fantastic, JT. I know you're a busy guy, so I appreciate you taking your time. I think for our listeners that the most important thing is build relationships, take actions, add value. JT, thank you so much. This was awesome, and I look forward to seeing you later.
Thank you so much for having me on. What a great interview. I'm so proud of your success and for the future things. And I can't wait to speak alongside you at my big conference.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. To get access to all of our podcast episodes, you can go to our website at ThynktankMillionairePodcast.com. If you're interested to learn more about our coaching program, you can go to ThinktankCoaching.com to learn more. Make sure you subscribe so that you can get our weekly podcast episodes on how to scale your business. And we'll see you in the next episode.